Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for a tier list. So this video, we're going to be going over the tier list for the best heroes in Eternal Evolution for August 2023. Now I'm doing it a little bit earlier. I usually like to save it for the end of the month, but I think that I've got enough data compiled on the newest hero, Ares, to comfortably place him in the tier list and then give this to you a little bit early. All right? Okay. So as we do, you guys know this isn't an overall tier list. I like to do tier lists broken down by class. Now, I will kind of discuss who are better heroes overall, but in general, we're going to go through every hero. We're going to kind of rank them by class and discuss them briefly, and hopefully that this gives you the information you need in order to evolve and spend your resources wisely. Okay, let's pull it up. Where is it? It's right here. Okay. First, though, I did prune this list. I did prune it. So if I pull this over here, you're going to see I got these ones, these guys, classified as food or trash. In my opinion, don't waste any resources on them. You might use them early game, like very early game. I'm talking in your first couple months, but you're gonna get these copies of these heroes very quickly, and you're never gonna use them. By the time they're usable, they're going to be completely trash. So that is just my opinion, but I would not focus on those at all. Tell me what you think of that. Okay, now we get into the list proper. Now, as I do, I'm going to remove my head so that if you do want to screenshot this list, now is your chance. So let's get me out of here. There it is. Feel free, screenshot, share it around, keep it on your phone as a reference. But, and I'm going to give you, 5 seconds. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay. But keep in mind that this list is linked in the master spreadsheet that is in the description of this video, and this spreadsheet is also linked in every video I ever do. So if you ever want to make reference to this, the link is available just at a click of a button. Okay, let's dive in. Starting up at the top, the tanks. The tank class, arguably the most one of the most meta classes in the game after assassins with Caraxia. So I kind of struggled with putting Pandemonium up front. I moved them briefly. I moved Teresh and Womagon ahead of Pandemonium because both Teresh and Womagon have a lot of plug-and-play viability. Teresh gets a lot of use with assassins or with melee heroes. Of course, Teresh is excellent on any team. Womagon, again, excellent as a frontliner. He's great in PvP. You can use him, again, with Vanguards. We used to use him in the Endless Battles with Vanguards. Both of those heroes, while being tank heroes, Teresh and Womagon, have a lot of viability outside of just the tank team. But, if we are talking tanks, the tank PvP team does not work at all without Panda. All of the tank nodes in Twilight Lands do not work without Panda. Azura, Battle of Azura does, well, I guess you can use assassins, but if you are going to use a tank team in general, you cannot do it without Panda as such. And again, this is arguable. I do have Panda ranked as the best tank within the tank class overall. Again, Teresh and Womagon, we've already discussed them. I don't think they need a whole lot more discussion. They are awesome, excellent heroes. I'm putting Teresh and Womagon as 2A and 2B. I think they are exactly the same. I think you could make the argument that Teresh has more viability in other places versus Womagon, but they're both really good. I'd say that in a tank team, I'd say Womagon is the stronger between him and Teresh. You can use Womagon as your frontline tank in Crimson Abyss. I did that right up until 15, or right up until they gave us Dorley. Yeah, both of these heroes, top shelf. Absolutely go for heroes. Now, Zeta. Okay, Zeta. I had thought when we got Teresh that Zeta was going to fall off. I thought, nope, that's it. She's done. Get her off of the tank team. Never going to use her again. Not so, because the tank team for PvP and for, say, like endless battles or any place where you want to use the whole team, you still want Zeta. You actually want to run a 4-tank team, and as such, Zeta, while being the fourth wheel, you still need 4 wheels to drive a car. So I would still build her up, albeit slowly. They have given us ways to get Zeta aside from gene hybrids. I don't know if I would recommend someone spend gene hybrids on her anymore. You can basically go a couple different ways with the Endless Battles shop. You can get about 2 copies of a hero each month from that shop. Now, you can pick Moriami, the hunter, because it's hard to get her copies outside of the Endless Battle shop. Or you can pick Zeta if you want to maybe focus on her for a tank team. You can also get her in the hero selection card you get from Heroes Rally when you save up enough advanced tickets. So there are ways to build Zeta outside of using gene hybrids. Again, I wouldn't recommend using gene hybrids on her, but she is still a good tank. She's a really good tank. And then we start falling off. So if you're a free-to-play, or if you're in the beginning game or mid-game, Vagueness is probably going to be your go-to. He's probably the best tank outside of the SSS tanks. He's good everywhere. I'd say he's better for PvE. And I still love Oysa. Oysa is a launch hero. She's not a great tank for PvE, although you can use her effectively in beginning game, given that she has an AoE stun. But for PvP, even at endgame, she's still viable. She's still really, really good, because if you bump her up, if you get her to exclusive 20, you make her hyper evolved, you tweak her out with really good gear, she is a really, really good control CC, or a crowd control tank. She's just from hitting her, they're going to get stunned. She's got an AoE stun that's repeatable. She buffs up the defense of the person beside her. She's still really, really good. I know some people like to poo-poo on her. I know there is an argument to be made that Boar is used more than Oysa, but I like Oysa because I'm a PvP guy. I got so much use out of Oysa. At one point, people were telling me that they were testing against me strictly because my Oysa was so well built. So, Vagueness are better than her, better than Oysa, but Oysa is still a really good hero that does warrant taking up to, like, say, hyper evolved level 80 if you're a mid gamer and you don't have Teresh and Wamagon. Now, I wouldn't put her on a PvE tank team because she sucks on a PvE tank team. Oak is better for her in a PvE setting, but Oak no longer viable in PvP. But Boar is. So we're kind of covering him really quick. Boar is still viable at endgame PvP strictly as like a Leo control tank. He will go down. You know, even though you can build him beefy, he will go down and he's not coming back. And he's only got that one flip. So if you really need to clear the person in front of you, usually people use Boar to counter Leo teams. So Boar, still good. Actually, I should probably put Boar ahead of Oak. I remember when Oak was awesome. Yeah, I think I'm going to switch this around. We're going to go like this. We're going to put Boar ahead of Oak. So if you screenshotted this, well, we're making edits on the fly. There we go. Because Oak, you know, you get a lot of Boar. Oak, you need to kind of like buy some copies out of one of the shops. He doesn't come as easily as Oysa and Boar. So yeah, this is that. So that is the tank team. That is how the tanks roll out. Agree or disagree? Tell me in the comments. Now we're getting into support. Now last month you guys saw me. I split off. I used to have support as its own class aside from healers, but I was running out of room. And I liked this format, so I decided it was finally time to amalgamate support in general. Mainly because like Miranda and Fiona aren't good healers. They're really good support. They do heal, but they're not good healers. So we're going to talk about all of the support now as they are listed in game, which is these are all support. So I am putting Fiona as number 1. Okay. I kind of have to talk about Fiona and Miranda in the same breath because they both are kind of the same type of hero. They don't heal very well. They have a lot of synergies in their kit with specific classes. Fiona, Vanguards and Assassins, and Miranda as energy and hunters. But Fiona has a better kit. And say like Guild Hunt Spider Boss, which is an energy fight, where you would think you'd want to bring Miranda, you actually don't. Fiona's actually better. And Fiona, you know, I got to give this to her. She was the catalyst that broke Assassins, that made it so that Assassins can almost beat all of the content in Eternal Evolution. That alone, the fact that she gets used in Guild Hunt on an energy boss, and the fact that she breaks a class so much that they can conquer anything and beat anything, gives Fiona the top spot in the support class in Eternal Evolution. And I had Masrani up until last month ahead of Miranda, because Masrani's a true healer. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. Miranda, still great. Her kit is built really, really well to buff up attackers. Her shield is nice. I use her almost exclusively now on my summoner team in Guild Hunt Turbine, right up until Guild Hunt 18, because I need her to keep Ampu alive in Guild Hunt Turbine. But she's used really, really effectively on an energy team. She's used really, really effectively on a hunter team in PvP. Miranda has a lot of good uses, but it is now no longer with Assassins. So Fiona, number 1. Best in class. Miranda, I am giving her number 2. Donkey, leave me alone. And Masrani is now number 3 in the support class. Great healer. Like, if you need healing, he's the one you're going to want to use. Masrani is like the only healer that can overheal summoned units and give them a shield, which makes him really, really good when you pair him with summoners. Fiona and Miranda don't do that. Miranda's big shield, she goes over everybody, but the summons don't get the shields. So Fiona number 1, Miranda number 2, Masrani number 3. Now Rez is a unit unto himself. I don't think we have another unit like Rez. Rez, you know, he is a pure support unit. He is there just to make anyone you put him beside do their ultimates faster and more, because he gives a speed buff to the person in the same row as him. And if you put him on auto, he'll target that unit and give them ultimates over and over and over and over again. It was Rez plus Nord that originally broke the game before Fiona and Assassins broke the game. So Rez, definitely easy number 4. Serena. Serena is still a good elite healer, so much so that she's ranked higher than a triple S. Serena is who you're going to probably get. You're going to get Loran as your first healer in the game from Soul Mine, but you're quickly going to get Serena, and I still recommend don't spend Gene Hybrids on her. You can get her from advanced tickets, so every time you do a Heroes Rally marathon pull, you're going to get some copies. Put her in your wish list. She is still an excellent healer. You will get dividends for up until endgame using Serena. She has an AoE defense up. She has no range on her heal. She's really, really, really good. She's a single target healer, though, other than her AoE. So Serena, definitely really, really cool, and a unit that has stood the test of time and is a really good healer. Bada, no. You know, they buffed her 3 times, so she still sucks. But she does have a really powerful single target heal. So, I wouldn't waste your time. Just, no. Don't put Gene Hybrids into Bada like I did. Don't do it. You're never going to use her. Still, no one uses her. You can use her, but that doesn't mean you should. Anaruda, unless you're going to take this guy to exclusive 30, which I don't recommend you do, unless you're a big spender and can afford a lot of red runes. You can get some niche uses out of Anaruda at X30 Hyper Evolved. You don't ever spend Gene Hybrids on Anaruda. You get him by pulling Advanced. He is the only triple S you can get from Advanced outside of specific events that use Advanced to get triple S. You will get him over time. I have never used him effectively, but he's not trash if built right. And then Laurent's at the bottom of the pack. He will not be considered trash because if you're a beginner game player, he's going to be one of your healers and you're going to use him. Laurent, he does what he does. I know Gameplay Horizon still loves Laurent on a tank team, given he buffs defense. He's got a stun. His heal's not that big though. But Loran is definitely not trash, but he's last in the support class. So, number 1 for support, Fiona. Hard number 1. Uncontested. Number 1 is Fiona. She's definitely worth developing. Especially if you're just starting the game, she's the one you want to go for because she facilitates assassins and you can just ride them to endgame. Now, energy. Okay, energy class. It's a big class. There's a lot of heroes in energy. Northeon is a little bit of controversy, or I should say there's still controversy surrounding Northeon. They released him to the general public, didn't realize how good he was. We found out that he was OP, and then they paywalled him. So, unless you were playing back in, I think it was April, you are not going to be able to get Northeon unless you pay $200. This just is what it is. But he is still, you still got to give it to him. He is uncontested as the best energy class hero in the game. He is still a top 5. I think he is still a top 5 hero in the game. Now, people would make an argument for Jaina because you can plug and play Jaina. You've seen it. We're using her in the Summoner battle right now in August in the Summoner Endless battle. Jaina punches out a lot of damage, but Nord, you can literally put him anywhere and he's going to work, and he does huge damage himself. He's almost unkillable if you pair him with Rez. Nord, definitely number 1 in the energy class. Jaina, definitely number 2. No one comes close to, besides Nord, who might come close to doing the kind of damage that Jaina can do if built properly. Definitely Jaina is really good. The energy class as a whole is kind of weak right now, just because of the power creep a little bit. Tanks destroy them. Assassins destroy them. The only thing energy is really good for is PvE and killing summoners in PvP. Now, Luke and Ravenna. Oh, I remember when these were the 1A, 1B of the energy class. Luke is still ahead of Ravenna. Luke is by far better than Ravenna. You're going to use him in the Lost Valley and Sincero Marsh. If you're going to be going into story mode, any node that has a lot of tanks, Luke is your guy because he's non-stop applying defense down, which facilitates your attackers to go kill. Luke has a huge AoE. It has unlimited range. He's a key piece on the energy PvP team. Luke, being a launch character, is still quite viable at endgame. You need Luke in Guild Hunt Spider Boss for the AoE defense down. Even though he's not going to be your main damage dealer, he still is a good debuffer. Luke, still great, but I would not invest gene hybrids into him because I think that he's going to get pushed out with the next energy SSS release. Now, if I was going to level up Luke, on my free-to-play account, I pick Luke when I do my hero rallies and I get the Triple S selector. That's the only way I get him. It means it's going to take you 8 months to get him, unless they bring back, say, a giant tower, they put him in a banner, but it is what it is. I don't even think they offer Luke to beginning players now. He used to be week 1, but you still didn't go for him because at that time Emma was better. But Luke, still, I would say he's definitely the 3rd best energy hero in Eternal Evolution. And then Ravenna. Ravenna got power crept by Jaina. When Jaina came in, Ravenna went out. Ravenna, while being a very, very good damage dealer, she did AoEs for days. She went and went and went and went and went, and she looks freaking cool. The issue with Ravenna, she's got limited range and she's squishy. So I would still say, though, if you have a built Ravenna, she is still the 4th best energy hero in the game. But I don't use her anymore. So I can't honestly advocate to a new player, if you're watching this, that you go for Ravenna. Falvia and Kain. Now, these heroes I rode on my free-to-play account. I rode right up to endgame. Falvia and Kain are both really good elite AoE heroes. I would say if you're going to invest in any, put them on your wish list. Pick one. Kain or Falvia. I like Falvia because she can pump out more damage if you have her paired with other energy heroes, because she will do an assist when an energy hero does an AoE. So Falvia and Kain are still really good for elites. They've buffed Falvia a couple months back to make her even better. Kayn can dish out some decent damage. I used Falvia and Kayn in Sincero Marsh right up until X3. And I could even beat Sincero Marsh X3 with... Oh no, I was using a really low level Luke and Omar. Okay. But Falvia and Kayn can definitely get you up to X2 and get it down easily. So these ones definitely middle of the pack. And then Nautilus, man, Nautilus was only good beginning game when Guild Hunt first launched as a whale boss or as a whale hero. People use them on whale. As soon as we got Rickert, then we stopped using hunters on whale and we started using assassins. Don't put anything into Nautilus. He is a reward from Twilight Lands, and you can pick up copies of him in Endless Battle, but don't choose him. Choose Prygor when you get those chances. Nautilus, you're never going to use him. You're never ever going to use him. Sorietta, you're going to use, though. Beginning game, Sorietta is awesome. You're going to use Sorietta in Disa Caves. A very, very good starting elite character. Now we get into Nagrama and Omar. I used to be a big simp from Nagrama. And beginning game, Nagrama was good in Sincero Marsh. He was a very, very good egg killer. The problem is that I started with Rise of Heroes when Nagrama was the character that was basically free, so you could get him to Immortal really, really quickly. For new players, I don't know how I could justify telling new players to go for Nagrama. He can still dish out a lot of damage, but he's got his ultimate's kind of wonky. It's just in a big beam straight in front of him. Yeah, just get him as you get him. I would not chase Nagrama. Omar, everybody and their dog is going to get Omar at the beginning of the game. The game literally feeds you copies of Omar. And you know what? I had a commenter on one of my videos say that he still uses Omar at endgame in Sincero Marsh, and I tried it, and it works. Omar's UI, or AI, does target the ads very, very well. So until I actually got Ravenna up a little bit, I was pairing a low-level Luke, like a red Luke, with a hyper-evolved Omar, X20 Omar, and they were able to clear to Sincero Marsh X3 for me. So definitely not trash, but these two are definitely at the end, or at the rear, bringing up the rear of the energy class. All right, Hunters. Oh, Hunters have been done dirty this month. They really have. Actually, I think it was last month. Yeah, last month they've been done dirty. Hunters, if you built them up really, really good, namely Rosaris, Moriami, Prygor, and Rebecca. That was your tank killer team right there when they added Rebecca. And it lasted for a whole month. And then Teresh came and ruined the Hunter counter. But let's start at the beginning. So, Ryzeris or Rebecca, right? Rebecca is the newer of the two. Ryzeris is an AoE hunter. Rebecca is a single target hunter. Rebecca, both can dish out lots of damage. I'd say arguably Rebecca can do more damage. But Rosaris has a lot of really cool things built into her kit. You put her on a team, she's going to fear everybody. You can use her in story mode. She's necessary on a hunter team if you want hunters to counter summoners in PvP. She provides attack speed to all hunters on her team. I still give Ryzeris the edge for now as the #1 hunter in the game. Definitely build her up. I took her up to Immortal on my free-to-play account because I like to have one of each. Basically, I have everyone in this front row, which is kind of cool. Yeah, Rosaris #1. Rebecca is a very, very close #2. Some people like her more. Rebecca is also a facilitator for the hunter team because she gives the shields to the hunter team. So those two paired together are like what? Toast and jam. Eggs and bacon. I just had eggs and bacon for supper tonight. Rebecca keeps the team alive. She jumps to the back line. She's got a really good kit. I was really low on Rebecca when she first came out, but I've come to appreciate Rebecca since her release. But she's still not as good as Rosaris in my opinion. So if you had to pick one, pick Rosaris. Because you can run a hunter team of Rosaris, Moriyami, and Prygor with, say, Miranda and Leo, and still be an effective hunter team. You can use them in Twilight since they're all AoE hunters. So that's why Rosaris gets the edge. Rebecca is definitely number 2 in the hunter team. Now, this is going to be a little contentious. Moriyami, Emma, and Prygor. Now, some people like Prygor more than Moriyami. Moriyami and Prygor are both AoE hunters. Emma is a single target hunter. Now, you do still want Emma because, and we're going to go over to the game real quick. So the reason why you want Emma is mainly for Molten Abyss. I'm pretty sure you can find a team that can do it, but Emma just makes the level 6 of Molten Abyss really, really easy. Plus, if they stay true to form for Endless Battle and they keep the fight that we had at Endless Battle for Hunters, you still need Emma for that fight as well, which is why Emma is still as high as she is on the Hunter class tier list. So Moriyami is better. Why? Because Moriyami on a PvP team with Hunters can dish out almost as much damage as Rosaris and Rebecca. Just the way her kit works is that she hits everybody with her basic. She just attacks, and attacks. Like, Moriyami is the better of these three. She just is, but you have to develop her. And the problem is Moriyami is really difficult to get. She was really difficult to get prior to Endless Battles because the only way you could get her was from winning or placing highly in Summon Arena. Now, with Endless Battles, I do recommend that you get Moriyami maxed out before you move on to the other characters. But pick whatever reward, whatever copy of an SS hero best suits your account or best facilitates your account's development. But Moriyami is the better of these three, trust me. And, with the addition of Rosaris, Rebecca, and Moriyami, Prygor gets pushed out of the Hunter PvP team, which is why she is under Emma. She didn't used to be, but since Emma is needed for Endless Battles and Molten Abyss, that's why Emma is now ranked 4th. So Rosaris 1, Rebecca 2, Moriyami 3, Emma 4, Prygor 5. After that, we have the elites. Now, Taylor and Bot Mark 2 are still absolutely essential elite heroes. Taylor used to be everybody's most used hero. He just was. He's just been power crept out. But for beginning game and mid game, Taylor is still awesome. Even at late game, if you're a Turbine hitter in Guild Hunt on the 9 and below, you're still going to want to use Taylor to get higher damage numbers, which is sad given all the tweaks they've done to Guild Hunt Turbine Boss, but it's true. My free-to-play account still uses Taylor in a lot of places. I still use Bot Mark 2 in a lot of places. They're both really, really good. Taylor is one of the only heroes that you can manipulate where he jumps around the map, which makes him really good for certain story modes where you want to get him to the back to kill somebody in the back. And yeah, Taylor and Bot Mark 2 absolutely develop. Don't spend any gene hybrids on them. Don't spend gene hybrids on an elite ever, but definitely put Taylor in your wish list if you're early game. I would argue you could do Bot Mark 2 as well. They're both really, really good heroes or really good elites, but they will get pushed out. So keep that in mind. Now, this month, I actually moved Azina way back here. She used to be up here with Prygor. The reason why Azina is way back here is because you're not going to use her anywhere. You may use her in Disa Caves because she is a single target multi-hitter, and she does give a speed buff to the people beside her. But we did use her very, very briefly in Disa Caves before we got Rebecca. I might have my timing on that wrong. Don't sue me. Don't hold me on that one. But we used her very, very briefly, like a flash in a pan, and then she was gone. So given the fact you don't use her anywhere, there's really no methods of acquisition other than spending 120 chips or pulling her in the advanced special banner if they ever bring that back. I know a lot of people got a bunch of Azina copies in that. I think she's in Endless Battle, but don't spend your Endless Battle gold tokens on her. She's just not good. Old John as well. Old John, don't develop. He's okay. He's not trash. He's not food. But he's got a really limited range. His kit's really cool. They could have really done something with old John. I know people that have taken him to X30 and do good things with him, but I would never recommend spending red runes on an elite. Yes, given that he's so niche and that he requires such a high cost of development if you want to make him good, old John is bringing up the rear for the hunter class. Okay, let's go like this so that we can fully see Vanguards, Assassins, and Summons. All right, Vanguards. Okay, there's a caveat here. Now, I think up until last month I still had Leo in front of Barag. Maybe Barag edged them out last month, but so this is a caveat. If Barag, Ares, and Leo are all Immortal 5, if somehow you spent $1 million and got Ares to Immortal 5, there is an argument that Ares is better than Barag, because I've seen from multiple people, Charlie, I'm looking at you, just talked to you today, who have sent me multiple. Charlie sent me a bunch of screenshots. He's got an MO5 Ares. Ares can do really, really, really good things when he's at maxed out. When he's maxed out, the difference is there is such a fall off on Ares from Immortal 5 to Immortal that I can't, in good conscience, put Ares above Barag. If this was just a all maxed heroes, I might put Ares in front of Barag, but that's not the game. I kind of try to keep it somewhat like as if they were all just Immortal 0. So that being said, Barag is still the number 1. He's a rage-based Vanguard. You need him for endless battles. You need him for, well, you don't. For Thundercliffs, you could use Assassins. But Barag, the damage that he does just eclipses any other Vanguard except for Ares. Okay? But, and Barag is somewhat plug and play. You can plug and play. You can put him in frontline in other comps. You can put him with a tank comp. He does really well. He can be a disruptor in some comps in PvP. If you build him right, he's really, really hard to kill, even without a cheat death. Barag's just that good as such. I'm still giving Barag the number 1 spot on the Vanguard class tier list. Ares, until I'm proven otherwise, all of my testing at Immortal 0x30 says he is average at best. He is really good in the Thundercliffs. He was basically designed for Thundercliffs. You get him higher development than just Immortal 0, and then you can start plugging him into an Assassin team and doing some cool stuff in an Assassin team. But for now, Ares still only gets number 2. You need him for endless battles. You need him for Thundercliffs. He will do way more damage than Leo, Crete, Nefeng, the rest. But he requires too much investment to get him really rolling. So, Barag number 1, Ares number 2. Leo, oh, sad. Leo was the first post-launch hero we got in the game, and he was amazing. No one can argue that Leo wasn't fabulous. And you know what? Leo's still good. I still use him at endgame. I use him on a hunter team. I've seen people use him on an energy team in PvP because he's a disruptor. He's not going to do all the bad stuff he used to do back in the day, but what he's going to do is he's going to push himself into the back line of the enemy, keep them occupied while your newer and more powerful heroes do their work. On a Vanguard team in general, still good. Put him with Hagridon. He does have good survivability, but he's not going to be Ares and he's not going to be Barag. As such, he's not bad. I think that you should still develop Leo. In fact, I think new players that are just starting this game do get Leo in the starting rotation now, which is awesome. He should be, because Crete used to hold that spot. Now, Crete, okay, we'll get to Crete, but Leo, he's a hard number 3. He should still be developed. Even now, we just had a new Vanguard introduced, and Leo is still on the team. Leo is still used quite well in Twilight. If you don't have Nord, you're going to use probably Barag or Leo. Leo is still really good. It's just that he's overshadowed and he's kind of succumbed to power creep. Now, Crete, I've had some people tell me Kree's still good. I know if he is IMO 5 and built in a non-conventional way, he can still be the powerhouse tank that he used to be when I started playing. But he's generally not good anymore. You can run a 4 Vanguard team with Fiona. You can. I've tried it, but it's not as good as a 3 Vanguard team with Dominic and Fiona. Crete is just a little less than average. I'm sad to say, but he is. Na Feng, when they gave us Na Feng, he elevated Leo. He made Leo better, which was weird because at the time we were saying, why the hell would you make Leo better? Leo is already OP. We can't kill Leo. He didn't really make him that much better. He just buffed his attack. Na Feng, I think he buffs the defense of Vanguards and he buffs their attack. Should you build him as an elite? Yes. Starting out in the game, you're probably going to have Leo, Na Feng, and Artis. That's probably going to be like your starting Vanguard team, and it's a good team to start. They're going to do what they have to do. But eventually, he's just going to get phased out and you're never going to use him again. Artis, only good for beginning game players. Artis used to be really good. They nerfed him into the ground. He was probably one of the better elites in the game at the time, pre-nerf. But now, you probably use him in Thundercliff up until like 5. You got to build him in like Unleashed. You got to make him do a lot of attacks. Don't put Gene Hybrids into him. Don't put Red Runes into him. Just take him up to X20 and use him until you don't need him anymore. Guan Yu, they buffed Guan Yu. He still sucked. He's still hard to get. I wouldn't recommend anybody go for Guan Yu, but he looks cool, and that's why he's still on this tier list. Plus, he's a triple S. He's the lowest ranked triple S in the game. Although I could say that he's on par with Nautilus and Azina and Bada. He's a triple S that just doesn't get used. I really hope they buff him because he just looks cool. I love his art style, but other than that, nah. Okay, Assassins. All right, Assassins are currently, Caraxia is currently the undisputed best hero in the game because she's the first SP. Now, if you guys have followed my video showing her progression at certain levels, she's far too expensive to go for. She is. I'm not going to rehash the whole Caraxia dilemma, but she is not good until you get her to like 5 and 6 copies. I just got her to 6 copies today. In fact, I went on a pull, and a pull had amazing RNG. I had her at 4. I got 2 copies in that pull session, and I just skipped 5. So, but 5 was still okay. 6, now she's on my assassin team forever. At 6, she's finally like actually viable. Immortal, and if you get full 8 copies, she's the best hero in the game. She's gonna kill everything. As such, she has to be number 1 on this list. She just is. She's the only SP. She is the most powerful character in the game. She's the win button. She's just, yeah. What else can I say? It's Caraxia. She's just that good. Now, here you go, Donkey. You can roast me on this one. Dominic. This is the first month I am putting Dominic ahead of Rickert in the Assassin class. Why? Because Dominic is used in every single endless battle, minus a few. Dominic, you can have him at a very, very low evolution and beat Terradome X3. I have a video out on that. You only need 1 copy because his kit is that good. He is, like, regardless, 1 copy, Immortal 5. Once he gets that mark down, that mark's still going off, and you're going to dump as much crit damage into it as you can, and it's going to explode and do big damage. Dominic is that good. Again, I think I've said it earlier in this video, but if you're just starting this game, go for Assassins. Go for Dominic, go for Rickert. I'd say even go for Bailey, because you can still use, Bailey's still used in the Assassin teams. PvP-wise, though, no. PvP, it's Caraxia, Dominic, Rickert, and Helentis. But yes, go for Assassins. You will not be disappointed. Dominic, easily number 2 now. I'm giving Donkey you win. Rickert, very close number 3. Very, very close. These two need each other to really do what they can do. You need both of these assassins. Get these two because Rickert gives his sword souls to any other assassin regardless of evolution, and when they attack, the sword attacks, and that sword's attack is based on Rickart's attack value. Dominic, and you need Dominic because you need other assassins to feed their crit rate into Dominic, or into Rickert. I'm getting confused. So Dominic, yes, number 2. Rickert, very, very close number 3, but you need them both. You need to bring them up together. Yeah, I was going to say, my free-to-play account, I brought Rickert to Immortal and Hyper-Evolved first. Now I'm working on Dominic, and that seems to have worked well. I am still going to say that if I had to pick, I would say build up Rickert first and then Dominic, because you can use Dominic at lower evolutions and do the same things. But if you don't bring Rickert up, then your whole assassin team loses a lot of damage. So Dominic number 2, Rickert number 3, but keep in mind how you have to work on them. Halentus. Now, Halentus is better than Bailey Hudson in PvP. Bailey is better than Halentus in PvE. But Halentus is required for Hell Arena. As such, these two are very, very close. But I think I have to give the edge to Halentus. Halentus is number 4 on this list. She just is. Bailey Hudson, still used in Guild Hunt Whale Boss. Still used in PvE situations because Halentus keeps porting out. She's not good in PvE situations because oftentimes when you want to use assassins, they have to be confined in a certain circle zone. Bailey, Rickert, Dominic, Caraxia will stay in that zone, whereas Halentus is constantly porting out of that zone. She's a ranged assassin, and as such, the sword souls don't really work on her as well. So, but I am still giving her number 4 and Bailey number 5. Now, Rakana and Randall, absolutely, I think you should still develop these. If you are a new player, you're definitely going to want, I'd say, both. As you get Rickert and Dominic, Rakana is better, though, in PvE. Randall is better in PvP. So just keep that in mind. Rakana and Randall are still used up until endgame. When Rakana is buffed in Guild Hunt, Rakana can actually be used more effectively in Guild Hunt Whale Boss. Randall, no. But Randall, like I said, Rakana PvE, Randall PvP. Good heroes, but they are vastly... So, when Bailey came into the game, Bailey vastly overshadowed Rakana and Randall's damage. And now, Dominic and Rickert vastly overshadow Bailey. So that gives you a little example of scale here on these assassins. They drop off in 2 quick steps from the top to the bottom. But definitely build one up. Put one of them in your wish list at the beginning of the game because it's kind of nice to have, say, like... So I say beginning game, Taylor, Randall, Sorietta, Vagnus, Serena is probably going to be the ideal catch-all beginning game free-to-play team. So yeah, that's Assassins. But Caraxia, number 1 in the game. Summoners, okay, we are probably getting a Summoner coming in 2 weeks. That Summoner will be included on the September tier list. But Daniel still reigns supreme. Daniel and Ampu are the damage dealers of the Summoner team. But Daniel can be plug and played into any team and still do good damage. Daniel will facilitate the damage of all of the other Summoners' summons. And Daniel still, for being the second post-launch hero in the game, still does really good damage. You definitely need Daniel on your Summoner team. Daniel is still, in my opinion, the undisputed number 1 best Summoner in Eternal Evolution. Doralee, you need Doralee too. Doralee is going to help you easily clear Crimson Abyss 15 to get all your leveling materials. You need Doralee in Mirage Space to get your tempering materials. You can use Doralee plug and play on other PvP teams. You can put her in an energy team. You can put her in a hunter team. Doralee is a really, really good summoner. The thing is that she's more of a tank for summoners. But what she does is when she tanks well. When Doragon comes out and mass stuns, that's really, really cool. As soon as Doragon dies, if you have her X30, she's immediately going to summon Doragon again, and Doragon's just never going to leave. Doralee I'd say is number 2, because also she buffs up all of your summoners and your summons damage as well. She's kind of like Daniel too. Whereas Daniel's the attack summoner facilitator, Doralis the tank summoner facilitator. Definitely need Dorali in your life if you're going to run summoners. Now, Ampu, undisputed number 3, but there's a caveat with Ampu that has existed since his release. He needs Sorvali to be good. So ideally, you still run those 4 together, right? Daniel, Dorali, Ampu, and Sorvali. Sorvali, another caveat is she is poop hot garbage without Ampu. Okay? So you need Ampu first, but you kind of like Dominic and Rickards. You have to bring them up together. But unlike them, Ampu kind of sucks by himself, and Sorvali really sucks by herself. Whereas these two, Dominic and Rickard, kind of are okay alone. But Ampu dishes out a lot of damage. He's still, for being an early post-launch character, he still dishes out a lot of damage. His CC and his kit is still really good. His pushback's really good. Ampu is still... I think Ampu is still my favorite hero in the game. Yeah. That's why I use him in all the intros to my videos. I just think he looks cool. He's awesome. I've always been a really, really good fan of Ampu. And he is still really, really good, but he's only number 3 on this list. Sorvali is number 4, but only if you have Ampu. Sorvali, I still like her too. She's got weird jiggle physics. But she's definitely number 4. Now, Kalaza is definitely if you were going to invest in an elite, if you were beginning game or mid game or end game, because Kalaza is still used at end game in Guild Hunt Turbine Boss. Kalaza is still really, really good. Can dish out a lot of damage. I don't recommend putting him to X30. I don't recommend Gene Hybrids because the game's going to give you a lot of copies of Kalaza. So he's still used. He still has a viable use in endgame. Still a good character. Get him at beginning game and make sure you take him to hyper evolved. When people ask which elites to hyper evolve, I say I'd still recommend Kalaza. Skur and Hattie. We are using her in the current endless battles. She is part of the best team for the summoner boss. But apart from that, she's used in Guild Hunt Turbine still at endgame. Apart from those 2 instances, she's trash. I do not recommend you putting Gene Hybrids into her. You can buy the Battle Pass or the Military Ranking Pass or the Military Pass, whatever it's called. You can get copies there. You can get 2 every month. You can get her out of the Hero Rally SSS Selector. You can get her at an Endless Battle Shop. Don't spend Gene Hybrids on Skur and Hattie. But, yeah, she's really niche. I wouldn't chase her at all, to be honest, anymore. Because you can use Ampu and Sorvali in Guild Hunt Turbine, which gives her even less places to be used. Now, Muka and Senway. Muka has been replaced by Dorali. If you have Dorali, you don't need Muka for anything. Sadly. And Senway, while he used to be really good, is now no longer good. You, as a free-to-play and a beginning and mid-game player, you are going to get use out of Muka and Senway. You just are on a summoner team. It's probably going to be Daniel, Kalaza, Muka, Senway, Mazrani, something like that, right? It's going to be like a beginning summoner team. Senway, you're going to use until you can replace him with Dorali. Senway, you're going to use until you get, say, Ampu and Sorvali. Yeah. Use them at the beginning. Don't spend Gene Hybrids, nothing. Don't take them to X30. You will get use out of Muka and Senway. They are still decent. They have a place. But as of now, August 2023, they are the tail end of the summoner team. Now, okay. That's the tier list for August. Took me 50 minutes. Wow. I rambled on. But, each hero I feel needed their explanation. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns about this list, please either ask me in my Discord. The link is in the description. Or put it in the comment section of this video. I prefer Discord because it's easier to have a conversation with you. Now, best heroes in the game. Obviously, Caraxia, number 1. Nord, number 2. Pandemonium, and then it gets murky. Then it's like Pandemonium, Daniel, Barag, Jaina, Fiona, Teresh, Wami, Ampu. Basically, these are the best in class. Pandemonium, Fiona, Nord, Theon, Ryzeris, Barag, Caraxia, and Daniel. With caveats that we've discussed. And then basically anyone from like here where I'm drawing this line is you're gonna except for Crete, you're gonna use at endgame. Anyone to the left of this imaginary line are still go for, although keep in mind, don't spend gene hybrids on Rez, don't spend genes on Zeta, Luke, Ravenna, Moriami, Emma. You still gotta get Sorvali up. Don't spend genes on Crete. These are the overall best heroes in the game. I like to break it down by class, but I like to give you guys kind of a sense of the overall as well. That's it. That is it. So that is the tier list for August. I'm going to take my head... Oh, I'm going to take my head out of it again. If you want to screenshot it, there you go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And if you've made it to the end of this video, the safe word of the day is popsicle. I shouldn't have yelled popsicle. Because if you've watched me for 50 minutes, man, you deserve a treat. I'm not sending you a vial of blood, not sending you a lock of hair. Popsicle. Now, how many? Tell me if you're gonna go eat a popsicle after you see this video. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, that's it. Long video. I do this once a month. Yeah, that's it. That is, in my opinion, the best heroes in the game, broken down by class. If you disagree, please tell me where. Safe word of the day is popsicle. Put it in the comments. I will thank you profusely. Till next time, cheers, peace, bye-bye.